Hi children, welcome back to our history classes. In the last class, we are seeing the three major developments that shattered the whole Europe and later the whole world. There were first French Revolution, second was Russian Revolution, and third was the rise of Hitler to power. And these three events have different significance, and I have told you that we are going to study all these three events in detail. First, we shall see French Revolution. All of you may be remembering the date of the beginning of French Revolution. That was on the morning of 14th July 1789. This date is very significant in French history. It was on this day the revolution actually started. The French society was restless even long before that. But this particular day was the culmination of all their restlessness. On this day, the people of Paris came out of their home and they wanted to form a militia against the French rulers, with the aim of acquiring arms and ammunition. They broke into different government offices and collected whatever the weapons they got. Almost 7,000 men and women came out of their houses to form a militia. Militia means army. And finally, they attacked the state prison known as the Bastille. The Bastille was a symbol of French oppression. It was here many of their brethren were caught and kept and tortured. Many were killed here. When their brothers and sisters were caught and taken by the army of the king, most of them were taken to this prison and they never came out. So everybody in France hated this particular prison, the Bastille. After attacking other government officers, they gathered around this prison and they broke this Bastille, the prison, into dust. And they collected everything, all the, even the last piece of dust they collected with them and they kept it as their memorial. Their hatred towards this prison was that much great. Then the riot is spreading to different parts of France. It started in Paris, but it is spreading to countryside. People are rioting everywhere. People, even in the villages, are coming out and attacking the government officials, government officers, and anything related to the government. That is how the rebellion was spreading. And on this day, nothing happened other than the breaking down of the Bastille, but it was the beginning of the events that changed the whole world. After 4 years, when Louis XVI was executed, many things changed in Europe. Everything had turned upside down in France and later in Europe. Now, this was the beginning of French Revolution, the starting of their restlessness. Now, we have to remember the background of French Revolution. This is simply called French Revolution. All the events happened after 14th July. This 14th July is very significant because this 14th July is celebrated as French National Day. That is the French National Day. 14th July every year they are celebrating. It is like our Independence Day. And the event started on that day. Now we have to remember about the French society. During the time of Revolution, the French society was suffering like anything. Louis XVI was the king of France at that time. Louis XVI was from Bourbon family. It is a royal family which ruled many countries, not only France. They had their kings in Spain, Italy, and many other countries. It was a deep-rooted family. It was there from the 13th century, and this family was ruling many countries in Europe. And the most prominent among them was the French royal family, where Louis XVI belonged to. And most of the kings in France during that time, or even before that, they were generally called by this name: Louis XVI, Louis XIV, Louis XVII, Louis XIII, so and so on. And at the time of Revolution, Louis XVI was the king of France. And his wife was Mary Antoinette. These two names are very significant when we talk about French Revolution. And as before, they were leading a very luxurious life. They never cared for the people. Whenever they wanted money, they simply increased the tax. People were paying tax and they were tired of paying tax. Now, the French king, he had a lot of affairs, engagements with other countries even. For example, there was a long-standing war between England. It is called 100 Years' War. And this war drained all sorts of France. England was their own enemy, and they were always engaging in war with England. And in that way, they are losing their resources substantially. Then another event was that by this time, the colonies in America were revolting against England. They wanted independence. And the French kings, they made it as an opportunity. They could revenge England by supporting United States in their freedom struggle. So they were supporting United States by means of money and military. For that also they had to spend a lot of money. And we know that America became independent in 1776, and it was the first success for the French kings against Britain. Then these are the different ways how France is spending their money. Number one, they are engaging in war. Then number two, they are supporting United States in their freedom movement. Number three, as I told you, the court of Bourbon family was very large. I mean, the family expense of the Bourbon family was very high, and this also the people had to pay. So the court expenses was very high. In that way also they were spending a lot of money. Then in all this way, then they were running universities, then government officers, and they were very spendthrift, very luxurious. Sorry, not spendthrift. They were very luxurious. in spending money. How the money is coming, whether they can spend or not, they were never caring. Whatever the amount, even if they are not getting the amount, they were spending whenever the opportunity comes. Then there were private money lenders who were lending money to France. When the debt of France became very large, they began to charge very high rate of interest. Before it was very nominal, but at that time the debt of France was almost 1 billion livre. Livre was the money of France at that time. The currency of France was livre. Now, do you know what is the currency of France? Now it is euro. It was just 10 years back they accepted euro. Before it was franc. And this livre was the currency of France until 1789. After French Revolution, this currency also came to an extinction. Now, after they supported the American War of Independence, their debt became 2 million straight away. 2 million livres. Then, as I told you, the private financiers, they increased the rate of interest, and that burden also came on the people, on the back of the people. So people are suffering in every sense. Now we have to move to the structure of French society at the time of French Revolution. How people are suffering, we are seeing. Now, why people are suffering, that also we have to see. At the time of revolution, the French society was divided into 3 very distinctive classes. 3 classes. And these classes are known as estates. They are very horizontally split. At the top is clergy. There may be just 2% of the total population, and below them is nobles. They are little more in number. Nobles belong to the royal family, the relatives of the Bourbon or King Louis XVI or Mary Antoinette, and the members of this royal family belong to nobles. Then all other people, common people, farmers, merchants, sailors, and advocates, doctors, teachers, and all common people, and even the landless laborers, all the other people are coming in the third estate. This is first estate, second estate, this is third estate. It is very easy to classify them because in the first group, the first estate, only clergy comes. Clergy means the Catholic priests of that time. Then nobles, they are from the king's family, the royal family. Then all other people. And although clergy and nobles together constitute only less than 10% of the total population, remember, the clergy and nobles together they are constituting only 10% of the total population. They own more than 60% of the national wealth. Land or building or all sorts of wealth, more than 60% of total wealth is accumulated by the clergy and nobles. And more than 90% of these people, they are holding only 40% of the wealth. We can understand the disparity that existed in French society during the Revolution. Now, not only this, These two classes had special privileges. There were privileged class, privileged people who the clergy and the nobles. What are the privileges they are enjoying? The first and foremost privilege is that they don't have to pay any taxes to the state. Although they are holding the 60% of total wealth, they don't have to pay any sort of tax to the government. They are the government and they don't have to pay tax. Whereas the common people, artisans, farmers, laborers, and these government servants and all of them, they constitute 90% and they are holding only 40% of the wealth, but they have to pay all sorts of tax. And the taxes, it is not just in one form. There are different taxes they have to pay. What are they? First and foremost, is that they have to pay a tax named teeth. This they have to pay to the church. That is 10% of their total wealth. Whether they are earning or not, that doesn't matter. Whatever they are holding, 10% of it, they have to pay to the church. That is definite. That is clearly defined, 10%. Then, that common people are paying. Then, the most important share of their tax to the tax is to the nobles or the landlords. We can understand what we have learned before. I told you before that it was a feudal system that was existing at that time. Here in this third stage, where common people belong to, most of them were living in the lands of nobles, feudal lords, and there they are working. Sometimes they have to live without anything. Sometimes whatever they are harvesting will be taken by the nobles. So here they have to pay a definite amount of, or we cannot say definite amount. It will be decided by the nobles, the landlords. The landlords will decide what their tenants will pay, the inhabitants of their land. The poor people are living in the lands of nobles, and they have to simply work. Sometimes, as I told you, all the harvest will be taken by the nobles. Sometimes they will be simply given something to stay alive. And anyway, they have to pay feudal dues to the landlords. The landlords are to pay feudal dues to the landlord. That will be decided by the landlords. Then finally, they have to pay the taxes to the state, to the government. That is tithe. This is another that will change from time to time. This is what the people are revolting against. These two anyway direct taxes, and these two people directly, and they know somehow they know how much they have to pay. 10% to church and then middle dues. That is definite. But this tithe, how much they have to pay, no idea. Government is increasing this tax from time to time indiscriminately. As they like, according to their wish, according to their will, they are always increasing this tax, the tax to the government. That also you remember, only these people have to pay to the government. Only people below who are from the third stage have to pay tithe to the government. And because of this, the people were coming out in the streets and revolting against, because it became impossible to stay any longer. The government is increasing the taxes without any mercy, and the situation came that they cannot live any longer by paying such amount of taxes. That is why they are revolting against the king, and they brought the prison of Bastille. So this is the structure of French society in the 18th century before the revolution broke out. Now, Here, what you have to remember mainly is that you remember the name of the king and when did the French Revolution start, the particular day, which is also celebrated as French National Day. That also remember. Then 3 forms of taxes the common people had to pay, which are the teeth to the church, feudal to the landlords, and tithe to the government. Then you remember the division of French society, the horizontal division of French society. First stage, second stage, and third stage. These are the things you have to remember here. Okay, these 3 things you remember, and I will give you some short questions and you can answer. Long questions I will give you later, but you try to answer these questions. I will be giving the questions in writing. We shall meet in the next class. Thank you.